Today's dye is going to be Punky Color in the color Fire. Now previously I did Punky Color in the color Flame, which is a little bit lighter, so I will compare those later on in the video. I have swatches labeled 1 through 13. That is just to keep track of the swatches as we go. It's not meant to be hair levels or anything. So number 1 is a deep purple. Number 2 is a light pink. 3 is a almost true red. And then 4 is a natural red. 5 is black. And then up through that we go to platinum blonde for number 12. And then number 13 is a toned version of number 12. And what I normally do in my videos is I start at the very top and I'll just take the dye directly onto the hair. And I like to see what the dye looks like as it lightens up. That could be a slight indication of what it might look like when it fades, depending on your hair, or just what it looks like when you lighten it. Oh no. So if you don't know, where I rent is like a basement, and you know those little windows in the basement? I can see a frog or maybe a toad stuck in the little window well. So you know what? I'm gonna go get that really quick. I'll be right back. Do you like my outfit? Beautiful. Okay, so I don't know how I'm gonna get them out of there. There's one in there, and I see another one. Oh shit. Oh no, and they're babies too. So I'm thinking maybe if I push him that way, I can get him out. The other baby frog is apparently trying to do the same thing. So I'm gonna grab him out. Hi. No. I know, you're scared. Don't run that way. No, you're not going in there. Okay, got the little one. There he is. Be free. Please do not go back in there, okay? Go on. Gosh, he's so tiny. Alright, now to the other one. Can you see the dragonfly? Hi there, dragonfly. He's just chilling. Anyways, there's a third frog. He might be the one that was hiding. Oh my god, he's so tiny. Holy moly. Come here, little one. Oh, you're so small. Oh my goodness. I can't get over this. Look at this. Look at this. He is so tiny. Sorry, being dramatic. Alright. Go on. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, I got the third one out of the screen. Oh gosh, he's going so fast. He's so fast. No, don't go in there. Don't go in there.
Blend in, you can't see what's jumping around, right?
Pretty much.
You know what? You need to find plastic. Oh, you know what? I'll get a bag.
Well, I
Shove
told.
it in there.
Go on. Join your friends.
They're so cute, aren't they?
Yes. It's so small. Go on.
Any other wheel wells?
I didn't see any, but those ones are a lot more covered. Go on. Good job. Alright, I'm back. I washed my hands. Let's get back into this. I also ate a granola bar. So as I was saying, I like to apply the dye directly, and then I will dilute the dye as we go, and as we go I will also tell you measurements that I use. These hair swatches are advertised as 100% human hair. I take it that these swatches generally aren't very porous. They don't absorb dye a ton. They obviously take the dye, but if you have hair that really can take dye, it'll probably look different. This is just a general reference point to see how colors look on different, undertones and levels of hair. But I obviously can't guarantee that your hair will look exactly the same. I haven't done many orange dyes so far, but I'll definitely be comparing this to the other Punky color dye and Sunset Orange from Arctic Fox. I think those are the only oranges I've done, but if I find more, you know, I'll include those as well. For the center, I'm mixing 1/4 of a teaspoon of the dye with a teaspoon of diluter, and in this case that is conditioner. And then for the ends, I'm doing the same 1/4 of a teaspoon of dye to a tablespoon this time of diluter. You know, I don't know why when I did the flame from Punky color, I thought it was gonna look like Sunset Orange from Arctic Fox, and then it didn't, and I was really surprised. But now, I actually think this one might look very similar, especially this part, but we'll see. So I'm gonna let these sit for a few hours. I'm gonna say like 3 hours roughly. I'll rinse them out, I'll let them dry, and then I will meet you back here. This is a very red-based orange dye. To me, it looks like number 1 is a reddish purple, and then number 4 even looks almost like a straight up red color now. Good thing is, though, that it pretty much dyed all of the swatches except the number 5 black one. So 6 on, it's definitely dyed, and then from 4 over is dyed too, so this is a pretty pigmented dye, which is great. Number 3 was the red swatch, and the bottom half, from what I remember, doesn't look that much different, but the top is a little bit darker. This was the pink swatch, which looks pretty much completely orange too. I remember saying that this looks closer to Arctic Fox's Sunset Orange than the other Punky color dye we did in Flame. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong, again. So we'll compare those. So this is Arctic Fox Sunset Orange. It is comparable to number 13. Number 12. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, and 6. So number 6/8, they look pretty similar. I think the Sunset Orange is a little less red looking, but overall both swatches were kind of dark beforehand, so the after looks like a deep red on both. But other than that, I think the Punky color definitely pulled a lot more red. This would be Arctic Fox's, comparable to number 4. Again, Punky color looks a lot more red. The Arctic Fox one is still red, but it has more of a golden look to it. And then this is comparable to number 3 and number 2. The Punky color also did a little bit better of a job dyeing the darker swatches in the diluted portions, because As you can see, going down, it still looks very red, but on the Sunset Orange, it starts to go back to the natural color. That doesn't mean anything bad towards the Arctic Fox's dye though, it just means that the Punky color is a little bit more pigmented and probably more meant for darker hair as well as lighter hair. So I think one of the reasons why I thought Sunset Orange was more similar than it is because I mixed together Sunset Orange and Electric Paradise from Arctic Fox, and I had that color stuck in my head as Sunset Orange by itself, but that's not it. I'll compare those. They're a little bit more similar in the diluted portions. So this would be comparable to number 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, and 6. Similar to the Sunset Orange by itself, the darker swatches look a little bit more similar. Once again, they just kind of pull the redness out. If I remember correctly, I think the top part is more Electric Paradise and then the bottom is more Sunset Orange. But either way, they're a lot more orange looking than the Punky color one. And lastly, I wanted to compare the Punky color's other orange dye in Flame. So this is comparable to number 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, and then number 4. Definitely a lot more golden, a lot more yellowy orange, and it also didn't really dye the darker swatches as well. I don't have a comparable one for number 7, but I do have one for number 6. But it almost looks like it wasn't dyed. The red ones, the like natural red ones, I feel like I see a slight difference with number 2 for the Flame, but compared to number 4, it looks like nothing was done. So Flame would definitely be better for lighter hair and if you want a completely different kind of orange. Maybe in the future I will mix them together. Alright, now that we've seen everything compared, let's get into the close-ups. if you have a request, you can comment it down below, but I also have a link for a Google form you can fill out. Just remember, I only do dyes that are cruelty-free and that don't test on animals. I also have a link to my Patreon down below. I have 2 tiers, a $1 tier and a $5 tier. The $1 tier is just mostly early access. I do like to post polls on there sometimes for like what dyes I want to do. And the $5 tier is that, but also your name at the end of my videos. I might start posting blogs too. I said blogs, vlogs. Thank you so very much for watching. I really hope this helped, and I hope to see you in my next video.